I finally understand what a summer read is. Hello, friends. Welcome back. It's Kate, your autistic book reviewer here, and I am very excited to get to talk about In Deadly Company by L.S. Stratton with all of you today. I was asked to read this book and review it, so I received a free ARC, but do not worry. Do not worry. My thoughts will still be genuine and real because it was so easy to love this book. Okay, I'm just going to come out and say that right now. It was extremely easy to love this book, and I did not know how much I needed this book after all of the heavy and deep and dark reading I had just done. I would like to also give a warm congratulations to Stratton since today is the publication day. It is coming out today, which means that this review is going to be slightly different than normal. I will not be having a spoiler portion since this book has barely hit the shelves, and I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. I don't want them to accidentally know the plot twist or what happens or anything, so we're going to stick spoiler free. And if you liked this book so much after hearing my review of it, then please make sure to use my bookshop.org affiliate link below. And not only are you not buying it on Amazon, you can help support a independent bookstore and your favorite content creator because I will be getting a small percentage back at no extra cost to you. So what is In Deadly Company about? Why, yes, it is a mystery thriller, and you're probably wondering, how did I get roped into reading a mystery thriller by a publicity agency reaching out to me? Because we should all know by now that I don't read this genre. I don't. But here's the thing. They gave me the pitch of a lifetime in a simple sentence of saying that part of it was set on a movie set. There are a few things in this world that will make me dive into anything. Spies, heists, and movie sets, movie TV, that kind of Hollywood vibe. If you tell me that that isn't something, then the chances are I'm probably gonna just ask how high I need to jump to get this, because I can't help it. Those are my pitfalls. And so when they pitched that part of this book was going to be set on a movie set, I was like, well, fuck. This book begins 1 year after a fateful night in Nicole's life that completely changes it forever, and we begin on the movie set with Nicole because the movie being made is the one to tell her side of the story. At least that's what she thinks is happening. So we get a dual timeline in the book that goes from the movie filming to the actual events of that night, or a little bit before to the actual events of that night that happen. We get a lot of twists and turns. We get a decent cast of characters. It's a very Knives Out vibe, which was something that I also really enjoyed about this book and what made it more of a light, fun romp instead of it being kind of a colder mystery that I don't get into as well. I've always felt that there was a lightness and a whimsy and a humor to Knives Out and that franchise that it was also very present in Deadly Company. The idea of going between the two timelines, though, was a lot of fun because it was a great way to apply the unreliable narrator trope to the story, because we know that this movie, she has been hired as a consultant to be able to tell the story correctly. And so we already are questioning whether, is her take of events what actually happened that night, or is she the villain of the story? I had a lot of fun with the story as well because it also deals with the 1%. And I do like to see how the rich live. I do like to escape into that world and see all of that as well. So when you add in the movie, you add in the money, you add in the whimsy of a Knives Out vibe, a little bit of the moments of not knowing what's going to happen. This was definitely 100% a great summer read. Now let's get into some of the numbers now that we know what the book's about. The book has come out today, so I can't honestly give you what type of hype this book received, but based on how it was pitched to me and sold to me for me to read it, I would say that it is appropriately hyped. I was prepared going in. I was delivered. It delivered as the email said, the pitch said to me, and I think it definitely match the bar that I set for it. And I would also extremely recommend this book. I think that if anyone loved Knives Out, they're a great person to read this book. I also think if they're not a huge mystery fan, but they still kind of want that whodunit vibe, this is a great thing for it. If you like movies, I think this was a great behind the scenes look on filming of a movie. Think light version though. This is not really about filming a movie. It's just one of the timelines in the story. But they gave you enough to enjoy that part. Overall, I gave the book a 3.9 stars, so really it's rounded up to 4 stars. The characters received 4 stars. The setting was 5, because again, they hit my sweet spot of movies. So if you question whether or not this is going to get a 5, well, I question you. And the other setting was set in a, I guess, Hudson Valley mansion, and I very much enjoyed that setting as well. The writing was a 4. The plot was a 3. You have to do a lot to win me over in a mystery plot. Themes were a 4. Emotions were a 3. And my overall enjoyment honestly was a 4. I was giddy and excited, and I really enjoyed reading this book every time. And I couldn't wait to pick it up. Also extremely surprising because this book was an ebook. I got it through NetGalley. And a lot of times it is hard for me to connect. I don't know if it's an autistic thing or not, but it was very hard for me to find that I can connect to digital reading. And I did. I actually was very excited to pick it up and read the book, even in its digital format. Sticking to CJ's Knight's nomenclature, I would definitely label this book light and frothy. It is very light and frothy. I also think that I'm starting to lie to myself with the idea that maybe I do like thrillers and I just haven't found the vein of thriller that I enjoy. Maybe it's because I need to actually go with the light and frothy thrillers and not go for these extreme dark, I'm hoping for the biggest plot twist of my life reveal, because I don't think people can really pull them off to my expectations. It's probably honestly all my fault because I expect so much. It takes so much to really wow me at this point, and I just need to go in expecting that there's not going to be a wow, and let's go for some light and froth. Because who would have honestly thought that I would like 2 thrillers in 2 consecutive months? Like, really, who am I? Do I need to get myself checked out right now? Let's go back to that light and frothy. Because the light and frothy existed, I was living for the setting. I was living for the characters. I was living for the 1% lifestyle. I was not here for the plot. I was not here for the twists. I was not here for who was right or wrong. I guessed the big plot twist at the end, I will say. I did guess it. There's nothing mind-blowing about all of this. But are we really here to read this book for the plot twist? I don't think we're here for this. When we watch Knives Out, are we here for the plot twist? Are we here to watch... I can't believe I just forgot his name. What is his name? You're screaming at the screen right now because you remember his name. Daniel Craig. Hey, that's what happens. It just comes to me. Are we here to watch Knives Out for Knives Out, or are we here to watch Knives Out for Daniel Craig doing his thing? Because that's what I'm here for. So, in Deadly Company, I was here for all the things and not the plot twist. The relationships are extremely well developed in this book. I was on board for every single connection in the story. I found it extremely believable. The little bit of romance that we do get in the book was steamy. It was cute. It was just enough to whet my appetite. It was frothy. No, I'm kidding. Wow. It was not expected, and so I enjoyed it a lot. The ending also had a little bit of an extension. We didn't just fade to black at the big reveal of who done it and what happened and who died and who killed who and all this stuff, and I appreciated that as well. We go into a little bit more of the psychology and the idea of, does Nicole get her story told? Is Nicole able to move on from everything that happened? Is Nicole happy in her life? You know, what's her play in all this? Is she a villain? Is she a good person? We get a little bit more of an extension at the end to delve into more of that psychology behind, you know, if this happened to you, which I find this to be a very good take on a psychology idea of, you know, shit can happen to us. And what if we also were put in this situation where the shit happens, we lived it, we experienced it, and how do we move on from that? What kind of person are we after that? It lends to the idea of morally great characters. It lends to human reality that we're not all perfect and all of this as well. And in a way, I love and hated the FMC in the story because though I don't agree with all the decisions that she made and the things that played out, which is, she was annoying to me at times, but I also saw her humanity and I also related to her in certain aspects. And so I loved her for those moments as well. And I loved the representation. And I think that Stratton just did a really good job with her characters. One of the reasons I was able to sit with this story so well. The other reason is because Stratton just wrote a really good book. The writing is great. There were beautiful analogies at the beginning. It was lush and captivating without, again, any heavy-handedness, no over-explanations. The picture was painted. I think Stratton leaned heavily on what we already knew about certain things. We all have a general idea of what a movie set looks like. We have a general idea of what maybe a filming feels like. We have a general idea of what mansions feel like and what the experiences she goes through, what they would feel and seem like. And so we didn't waste time on that. She relied on us to understand it while also still making sure that there was enough description to relate to it. And again, maybe that's why it was such an easy, light, and frothy read for me. I don't know where I would rank this on a thriller vibe as well. I just don't read thrillers. I don't feel like I've read a lot of thrillers. If I was going to compare this to Midnight Feast, and if you want to know more of my thoughts on Midnight Feast, I'll include a link in the show notes because I already did a review and covered all of that, reading that one last month. But I think that from a plotting perspective of who done it, who dies, all this stuff, Midnight Feast had better plot twist. However, I think that In Deadly Company had much better characters and a overall story to carry me through as well. I wanted to live in Deadly Company more than I wanted to live in Midnight Feast. Setting would probably be the same because Midnight Feast was set on the coast of England, so I could live there forever. And In Deadly Company was just like my favorite setting. So setting was overall. And I know if you've seen my Midnight Feast review, you'll know that I struggled with my rating on that one. But I will say In Deadly Company would get a higher rating for me, even if I changed Midnight Feast. So what is a beach read? Why do I suddenly feel that I understand the definition of beach read? Do I understand the definition of beach read, or am I just pulling something out of my ass? I'm really starting to question now. I think for me, the biggest thing is that I had massive fun reading it. It took no effort whatsoever. I wasn't trying to keep plot, themes, setting, characters too emotional, all of that stuck into my head. It was a breeze. It was a breeze. It was so easy to get through. It didn't make my brain work. That to me is a summer beach read. It was the perfect thing to read when the days were hot and I was half awake. I really hope that they didn't get to that part for the people who sent me the book. I promise I read this book with eyes wide open, okay? But I'm talking about that afternoon haze that we all live through in the summer, right? Like when it's hot, we've had lunch, we've done our morning activities and it's cool and we're all just, the house is quiet, or you're on the beach and you just want to relax and you're just floating away in the heat, melting. And yeah, that's what I mean. Okay. So yeah, I was just sitting there enjoying it. The fan was on me. I had the iPad in my lap and I was just going at it and I just devoured it. And that is a beach read. I'm not sitting here wanting to pick up the next Brandon Sanderson or Robin Hobb book in the summer when I'm looking for this. This is definitely, there weren't anything crazy. I wasn't sitting here like heart pounding or I can't handle this because it's so sad or scary because of horror or anything. It was just the perfect beach read. And I wish that they would like market it more for being a beach read because it was fucking perfect. You need more of a reason to read this book than the big smile on my face because You're getting a big smile, and that is my rating of the book, a big smile. Okay, friends, I've waxed poetically enough. I hope I've convinced you to read this book. I'd also like to thank Spark Point Studio for reaching out to me and pitching me this book to read. It is definitely really, really good, and I hope, Stratton, you do an amazing job on this release and that this book just flies off the shelves, because I think it definitely deserves that, and I really enjoyed it, and I am very honored that I got to read it ahead of time and experience the magic of what it was. Again, see, I'm just grinning. I can't help. I love this book. So thank you so much for watching and listening to this review. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to this channel so that you never miss an episode, and you can also help other readers like you find this content